Because we have one more thing to talk about. And this one actually involves me reading a regulation. So, we have to talk about the decision to reorder the race back to the order before the second standing restart, versus keeping it at the order post-restart. Article 53.3 of the sporting regulations, if anyone wants to go back and look at it, and there's part of it that says, in all cases, the order will be taken at the last point which it was possible to determine the position of all cars. All such cars will then be permitted to resume the on-track session. So, essentially what this says, and I'm going to read it one more time so everyone can let it sink in. In all cases, the order will be taken at the last point at which it was possible to determine the position of all cars. So essentially, at the last possible position that the FIA was able to say, that was definitely the order, that's the order that would be selected. Now, where this gets muddy is that in the timing screens, there was essentially an order that was not the order they went with, the order a little bit later, but before all the crashes. So really we have three orders here. We have how they started at the grid for the restart, how the shakeout was at the very end. There was this time in the middle, before all the crashes started, where they've done some mini sectors where there was a new order. But for some reason they didn't go with that order. They went with the order from the restart. And I can't really tell them they were wrong, because the regulation literally says, basically it was like, oh, whatever, you guys figured it out. And how do I judge their judgment? Because the regulation is just, whatever you think's right. And my question in all of this is, if that is the case, if the regulation literally says, I don't know, whatever you guys think is right, why did this take so long?
Right. They literally make the decision. But then my other question is, okay, I could look at a little map for a subscription that I pay for, and I could get some kind of idea of an order when it's working, which goes in and out. But what do you mean that you got to go to the start to figure out the order? Like, it makes no sense. But to your point, literally whatever you say is right. How do you not know? How do you not know going into, if this happens, if there's a crash at any start, let alone a restart, what do you then do? Like, this is not like this has never happened before.
I think we ended the last Into the Wild segment with a very similar thing, which is, why doesn't the FIA have a PR team? Why don't they have better communication? Why don't they do any pre-planning situation management? Oh, we're going to have a standing restart. Let's make sure we have all the things in place to make sure if there's a crash, which tends to happen with cold tires and standing restart and chaos and people tired at the end of a long race, like maybe they always come across, this might not be what they're like in the back room, but it always comes across like, I have no idea what's going on.
I have no idea. And everyone's like, well, what? Well, what? Well, what? Well, what? And everyone on TV, no one has any idea. Everyone in the paddock, no one has any idea. And then a decision is made. And no one understands why that decision was made. And then there's a rule. And whatever the rule ends up being is the FAA has the discretion to decide.
Yeah. And the only reason we know what the rules are is because we have to sit there and Google through the list of sporting regulations ourselves. Which is just... I have to say, in no other sport I've ever followed have I had to look up a rule book. Ever. It's wild that I have to do it so often.
Thank you so much for listening to this segment from episode 11 of Gridwalk. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Also, you made it this far in the video. Go check out the full podcast. Go listen to the rest of it. You can click right here for the full thing.